My second amendment relates to a funding restriction to prevent Department of Justice from going after legal cannabis in states like mine, Colorado, where it's legal. 95% of the country lives in an area that has some kind of legal marijuana. And study after study shows that having a well-regulated marijuana market can decrease underage use, bankrupt drug cartels and criminals, reduce violent crime, increase tax revenues. And Colorado was one of those test cases, and I'm proud to say, Mr. Chairman, it's been an overwhelming success. Underage use of marijuana is down. Instead of sending money to drug cartels, it's going to employment and businesses. We simply need to include this amendment, which is based on the language of the McClintock-Polis bill. My good friend and yours, Mr. McClintock of California, a Republican. This is a bipartisan amendment. So it's really not a partisan issue at all. In fact, about 70 members, including 20 Republicans, signed a letter requesting that this amendment be included in this continuing resolution or omnibus. So I'm confident that we can pass this, Mr. Chairman, if you simply allow it out of this committee to the floor. An overwhelming majority of Congress supports what an overwhelming majority of the American people support. And that is, Mr. Chairman, to let states decide. Let states decide how best to regulate marijuana. You don't have to support marijuana legalization and support the McClintock-Polis amendment. You certainly don't have to support legalization to allow this to go to the floor for an up or down vote. And I think there's far-reaching support that on issues like marijuana policy, we should allow the states to decide and not put our legal businesses and residents and constituents at risk of a Department of Justice enforcement action based on what side of the bed our Attorney General wakes up on a given day. The list of reasons that we should support this amendment go on and on, but let me just be very simple, Mr. Chairman. We should give money to classrooms, not cartels. We should create jobs, not addicts, and we should boost our economy, not our prison population. And for those reasons, I ask that Polis Amendment number 7 be made in order. I just want to ask if there's any spending in this $1.3 trillion spending bill that you would consider unnecessary that you think we could cut.
We've negotiated this, Republicans and Democrats, since we got this cap deal here. And I've worked very closely with both the chairs and ranking of all 12 committees. And I feel strongly that everything we put in here is defensible. We've had.
So there's nothing.
That's my answer.
So there's no government waste.
I think it's defensible.
You're saying there's no waste in this $1.3 trillion. There's nothing we can cut.
I think my response is the accurate one.